Hello, it's DaxTheAnimal again. Getting ready to go into chapter 1-2.
Now.
Starts out with a QTE. Lovely. Handgun ammo that's surprisingly easy to miss because you have to turn the opposite way that you're supposed to go to find it. We're about to have our first encounter with the merchant. The most likable character in RE4. By a large margin.
What are you selling? Is that all?
We're going to be doing some very important things here.
What are you buying?
Like buying a larger case and a rifle. This rifle and later on the semi-auto rifle are hugely important. Going ahead and upgrading that shotgun because I'll be holding on to it for quite a long time. Up until I get the striker. So I don't even bother to switch over to the assault shotgun. I don't think it's worth it. And I don't like how it takes up extra space in the case. It's going to start out with some sniping here. Basically want to take out some of these dudes before drawing the horde down upon us. Because once these enemies know you're here, they start coming in waves. They know now. You can tell because the annoying drums started. Careful with sniping that guy. You want to make sure you aim kind of high. You can have your crosshairs right on his head, but it'll register as a body shot. The aiming in this game can be a little wonky, particularly at a distance. Shoot this barrel before those guys climb over those sandbags and it'll kill all of them. I knew that guy was coming up, but I guess I somehow judged that he was far enough away that I could snipe that barrel first. And this is pretty much the area I'm gonna hold down. You could sit back farther and hold down the door and wait for them to bust through it, like the double doors back there. But I think this is faster and even safer. Those dynamite guys, they try to hit you here, but they just end up missing. They just throw the dynamite down into the chasm and occasionally blow up their buddies. They can't really do much. And just like in the last chapter, just aim, wait for them to throw the dynamite, flick the stick up just a tiny bit, and you'll hit the dynamite. Should have hit the dynamite every time. Now, you notice in the background there, I left that guy on that roof. We could have sniped him easily before, but he's actually crucial to this upcoming bit. I'll let you know when we get there. Snipe that guy, it aggroes the dudes in the house underneath him. And this is the part I was talking about. Make sure this guy's aggroed, and he'll start throwing dynamite at you. And then make sure you face this corner. You don't have to be moving into it like I am, but make sure you're not looking the other way. Because if you're looking at those enemies that are down on the ground right now, some of them have pickaxes, and they will throw those pickaxes at you. The camera affects enemy behavior in this game. It comes up quite a few times. And once he's killed all his buddies down there, turn around, shoot the dynamite when he throws it, and we're about to do another door strat, just like last chapter. Group of enemies coming up from the right. Occasionally they won't be aggroed, and you'll have to actually go over to that building and just bring the fight to them. But most of the time, if you do what I just did, most of the time they'll come this way. They're coming, they're just taking their time. How fast or slow they are about this it varies. You never know what you're gonna get. You never know exactly what you're gonna get with RE4 enemies. You just have a pretty good idea most of the time. But they'll surprise you. Expect to get robbed, especially if you're trying to do this in one shot. Expect to get robbed many, many times by enemies doing things that you don't expect. Or other nonsense like crossbow bolts going through surfaces and hitting you. Or things like blowing an enemy's head off and then they run at you and grab you and choke you and do damage. That's always lame. This is a long game with a lot of weird stuff in it. And the robberies will happen. Just expect it. If you want to try this challenge, just expect frustration. And now we loot the RE4 staple. Kill a bunch of enemies in an area and then run around and loot that area. And ultimately the goal here is to find the two halves of this emblem that serve as a key to a door. We'll get those on the way. Some items are set. Sometimes it's RNG. Like certain barrels. You know, when I climbed up the ladder earlier and there were shotgun shells up there? That's always the case. But then that barrel that I broke that didn't have anything in it, sometimes it will have something in it. It's just RNG. And RNG, by the way, stands for random number generator. It just means randomness. That's all. If somebody says RNG, they're talking about randomness. We're just about out of this area. And over halfway through this chapter. This is a pretty short one. The long chapters start at the castle. There's some monster chapters later in the game. The village is pretty easygoing. Segmented nicely. Each of the chapters roughly the same length. You can see a treasure back there that was a mask. We'll be getting that later. And what I'm trying to do here, there's an enemy that jumps over that middle wall, like the divider. And I was hoping that grenade would get him. But he didn't climb over fast enough. If you're lucky and he cooperates, you can kill 4 enemies with 1 grenade. It's a pretty great use of a grenade. You can't hoard everything forever. You know, you might be thinking, why are you using a hand grenade on just these regular scrub enemies? You gotta use them on something. Jump to that window, do the dynamite thing, watch out for these bear traps. And the reason you have to use them on something, you have to use your resources sooner or later. It's not like other Resident Evils. There's not an item box that you can put your stuff in. If you can't fit it in your inventory, then you got to get rid of it. You have to use it, you have to sell it to the merchant, or you have to discard it. So you can't just, keep every single grenade you find for the end of the game or whatever. Nor do you need to. I'm just taking the fight to these guys because I don't want them to sneak up on me. As soon as I entered that room with the dynamite guys, those 2 guys I just killed, they were aggroed. They would have eventually walked through this room and into that door to the left, possibly sneaking up on me. I wanted to kill them before looting this area. There's a couple ovens in here. Again, just all the little hidden nooks and crannies in this game. This one always has a spinel. Watch out for the bear trap over here. And this one always has handgun ammo. It's very easy to get a lot of extra resources in this game just by taking a few seconds. Exploring a little bit. That guy always points. You could just run around him and go to the ladder, but there's some items down here. There's always pesetas, handgun ammo, and a flash grenade down there. And there are fish. You can shoot the fish or stab them and put them in your inventory. They're used for health, but you can also sell them, but they take up space. They take up, especially the large bass, takes up quite a bit of space. It's not worth it. You can't sell them for that much. That brass pocket watch back there is pretty easy to miss because you can climb up and just run forward. Definitely worth grabbing though. All these little things to remember in this game that will definitely help you out in the long run. This puzzle solution here, it's 1, then 3. So the first option, then the third option. All the puzzles in this game are very simple. There's even one later where the solution is 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have that to look forward to. Okay, I'll see you guys for the next one.